Anyway, let's go to the next one. So, open mainnet period. Now, this is something that might take a bit of our time, but I'll try and squeeze it within some minutes. I don't want it delaying us because we've got other things to talk about. Now, with open mainnet, a lot of people, listen, the chatter out there is, yeah, it should be on 28th of June, 2023. It's like each and every sort of milestone date, people tend to expect something big from the core team, right? Now, I have my own opinion with that. I have my own sort of information with that. False or not false, it's an information that I can also share with people, which I believe I have. But in your case, Cozy, what are you hearing out there, or what is your suggestion or opinion on open mainnet's pandemonium? You know, there's
Sure.
pandemonium around it. That's all I can say. You know, spit it out.
Yes. So before I comment, I just want to say that I have absolutely no more information from core team than anybody else. All right. Like
Absolutely.
we're not given dates,
Nothing.
any timelines or anything. It's just that, I have been in the space, observing the space and interacting with the Pi space for a long time. Therefore, I have my own opinion, which I will most likely, share. And I think I've already shared, but sure, people are expecting Pi Open Mainnet to happen very soon, and it should have happened, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, right? And it's late and everything. That's what many people tend to think or say. I don't think that's the case. I don't think most of the pioneers have the understanding in general, just like what Open Mainnet is and what it can do for the project, because some people are under perception that if they open mainnet, then that means the project is successful and that will be the king of all to rule them all, and that it will be able to solve every problem of our lives, and that's really not the case unless what we have built is solid enough. There are no bugs and there are plenty of use cases and utilities, so people actually buy this coin. Just because you mine Pi for 1, 2, 3, 4 years and you have accumulated Pi and you think Pi is valuable, that does not make Pi valuable. That's just your opinion. What's going to make Pi valuable is when there are use cases and when there are, people who are actually willing to buy Pi, right? So when should Pi Open Mainnet launch and all that? Well, if you just look at what the core team says, basically when majority of the network is migrated to mainnet, right? So we have 45 million engaged pioneers count, and we have 2.5 million mainnet accounts. I would say that, like, it's my opinion. I don't know how many of the 45 million are active. I don't know how that's an overestimation, how that's a very accurate. I don't know. Okay, I just don't know. But without hitting 10 million numbers on the mainnet blockchain, I don't think we're good to go. There's loads of people, guys, in Asia. Okay, there's way more than like 2.5 million, way more active. But the second case around use cases, even after 1, 2, or 3 years, people have been developing dApps to be able to use Pi for different things. Even there has been some great achievements. I'm not going to name any, but I could. Okay. They still need a lot more users. They still need more usage. We still need to see the apps that people would actually use, on the weekly or the monthly or the daily, right? Not just that you just check it out, oh, it works, and then just never talk about it, never interact with it. So in terms of that, I think both a mainnet migration account number count and actual use cases and proper utilities, something that you would be excited to use and your family would use and your own team would potentially use, we are still very short on numbers. Okay, so considering those facts, I think we have some time to go. All right, we still have some time to build. We're still in an overall bear market all around the world. It's everything but bullish. It's more of a recession and more of a bear market than a bull market. And I know people think that this is the best time to launch Pi because it will be the new money and everything. But when it comes to investing and general people around the world throwing money into high risk investments, like for example, a new cryptocurrency like Pi or anything else, in a bear market, people are not as likely to invest in coins like this. Or like it's just not how it goes. But on the other side, when there's a bull market, okay, which happens usually after a few months around Bitcoin halving, which is in about 1 year. So just keep those in mind. You will see that Bitcoin starts rising and people start throwing money into all kinds of coins much more easier. And I think that it's likely that Pi could launch Open Mainnet in the next crypto bull run. And that's my personal opinion. It could be longer, it could be earlier. I don't know if, the core team is thinking about this at all. It's just that I know that this is their life's work and they want this to be successful. They want to maximize their chances at Open Mainnet because they know that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So they may as well prepare for the like as much as possible in order to maximize their chances of success. And if they do that, that means that everybody in the Pi network will most likely profit and win and big, and it will be a great project, etc. But if they rush it, if it's a product is not ready, if the demand is not there, it's just going to be one of the 100,000 coins out there that nobody cares about, and it's a failed project, and we just wasted time. So in order to stop that from ever happening, I think the core team will go above and beyond to ensure that by the time we launch, we have not only the best use cases and proper systems in place, but we also have proper good market conditions so people are more likely to buy this coin. It's very important actually when it comes to investing in just cryptocurrency. And I know that Pi is special. It can be very special. It can be like the people's money, etc. But it is still a cryptocurrency. Okay, it still is a digital coin. So anyway, when it comes to investing, when there's a bull market, people gladly throw money into all sorts of projects and more promising projects and projects with more substance, then a lot more chance and people will gladly invest in there. So to cut it short and turn simply, those three things I think we still need to work towards. So get the numbers up, like actual migrated numbers on mainnet, and more use cases, actual good use cases that people want to use and are using, and it's not just some marketing attempt or like, oh, it's there but nobody cares about, but people actually use. And I have a good example for that. I can share that in later. But on top of that, when the market sentiment changes around the world, when it's a better time to invest and it looks positive, I think that's going to be a better time to launch Pi. It's better than rushing it. You think that if you rush it and it starts very slow and I know why people say this. It's just that they don't consider that if it doesn't work out the way they want them to, then it may not ever recover. That's the problem. It's like it works or it's dead, and it can happen on exchanges when launching. So I think the core team will take a more conservative and a more I don't know how to say it, just a conservative approach, and they just do their best building a bear market and then launch when the time is right. Okay, so that's about it. What do you think, Ray? I haven't really been catching up on your streams, unfortunately. But
no, don't worry. Listen, me personally, I've been hearing chatter here and there when it comes to Open Mainnet. However, I have my own opinion, so let me just share my opinion as opposed to chatter. So, personally, I think, I understand where people are coming from when they say, for instance, I look at this comment here from Mark Kuhlman, who says, there can't be any real use cases, quote unquote, until Open Mainnet is there because you need value for it to be usable. And that's understandable. However, we do have what we call the testnet ecosystem where we're able to virtually interact with these utility platforms. Do you know what I mean? And you can't really buy anything there, but you can use your test buy to test it to see how the interface works and how transactions are made and all of that, and what products could potentially be sold or what services could potentially be given. Now, I look at all of that, and thank you so much, Mark Kuhlman. He actually he reminded me there. Thank you, just as Cozy did. So, listen, what I can tell you straight away is, personally, I think the core team, they're doing what they can to ensure that we have a stronger ecosystem. Now, if you're building an economy, you want to have a sort of a projected approach towards it. And the projected approach is that you look to the future and say, okay, so what's happening now? What's happening now is we're in a bear market. Whatever happens, people's confidence in crypto is not as high. So if you release it now, their confidence is not as high. So they wouldn't even look at Pi twice. They'll look at it and be like, yeah, it's just another one. Do you know what I'm saying? So you wait when people's confidence are high. There is a lot of rush. There's pandemonium. That's when you're like, all right, even though our ecosystem is ready, even though our utilities are ready, we believe this is the time to do it, not the time when everybody was crying out for it to be done. And I could be one of them saying, I want Pi now. Sorry, I want Open Mainnet now. I could be one of them. But I'm not. Obviously, I'm not. But I could be one of them. And if I am one of them, I may be wrong. I may be right. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's right or wrong here. It's just anybody's or everybody's opinions. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying somebody's wrong to say Open Mainnet should happen as soon as possible. And I'm not saying somebody else is wrong to say Open Mainnet should happen later down the line. We all have our reasons why we want it to happen. Just like Mark Kuhlman said, you know, real use cases can happen on, only when there's Open Mainnet. So, yeah, he has a point. He has a point. However, and that's real use cases. Remember,
he's absolutely right to a certain extent. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But it's also a risk to take. It's a huge risk. You know, you can only have that chance once.
Yep.
And once that chance is gone, it's gone. You know, a lot of cryptos have rushed, and unfortunately, they've faltered down the line. We don't want Pi Network to be that way. So
that's what everybody's doing.
Exactly.
That's what everybody has been doing. They just hope and pray that, you know, whatever community that they gather together and whatever the white paper says is going to be enough, so people buy enough, so they have enough money to, you know, build the project further and build use cases and etc. But not that many, you know, project succeeds. All right, it's not out of the top 20 coins. The general people don't even know any coins, right? Even the top 10, most people only know 3. And there's a reason for that. It's not, coins don't just get on top 100 and top 20 by just launching a coin and, you know, just build it out naturally. It doesn't work like that. There needs to be more to that.
And somebody might argue that, like, again, Kuhlman, I understand where Kuhlman is coming from, and he makes good points. Somebody might argue that, okay, so a lot of people are actually anticipating Pi Network's launch on the mainnet. A lot of people are anticipating it. So how about if we launch it, you know, now, June, September, whatever. How about if we launch it then, and then hope that the number of people supposedly who are waiting are in the tens of millions as opposed to the hundreds of thousands. So, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's still a big risk personally. And listen, if I had my wish, I would want it to launch now. But again, I look at a bigger picture. And to look at a bigger picture means I want Pi to be the best crypto there's ever been. And to do that, we have to wait. Personally, that's just my opinion, you know, because I would want it to launch now. That's one hand. But on the other hand, I see the risk that could be taken if we did that. So in order for all the drawbacks that may happen, which we can see could happen, we can't see it. Trust me, we can. Let's wait. Because the uncertainty is one thing that you don't want to trample with. If you trample upon it, you're in trouble. And that is just my opinion with it. So personally, that I would say maybe we should hang on a bit and wait till the ecosystem is stronger, which means a lot more people are migrated. And you know, if a lot more people are migrated, the ecosystem gets stronger. We get familiar with our testnet ecosystem. Eventually, listen, we would have something bigger than we expect it to be. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, look, just one last thing to add to that is if you want to look at examples of like what happens to a coin when there's loads of miners or users and there's no underlying demand, there's just a lot of supply in everybody's hands. There are many projects that have failed.
Yeah.
Electronium, there's tons in the past, okay? Because this idea is not necessarily brand new. It's just that Pi's innovation, its mining and like everything, it makes it very unique and it gives it a different it gives Pi a different property. And most cryptocurrencies use a different plan, just put a white paper together, get X community together and then just launch and then hope, right? And then, it works or doesn't work, right? The creators make money and that's it, whatever, right? People make money or lose their life savings, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. It's just one of the, thousands of coins. Pi Network seems to be doing things different on pretty much every angle. They think very much in the future, like what mining should be in the future, what KYC, what like potential future crypto regulation could mean to every crypto, not just Pi Network, but every crypto out there, AI and other things as well that they are taking into consideration. So it's safe to say that by doing things differently, we can expect different results. All right. And I'd rather take my chances as being very unique and using a very different approach than just being the exact same thing that like many other coins have tried with this approach and failed miserably. I'd rather wait and I'd rather see more use cases. And look, Mark is absolutely right when he says, true use case can only come when there's price. And to a certain extent, that's like a valid point. It's like if you look at Ethereum, the entire DeFi protocol system and NFTs and all that, it's because, people can buy low and sell high, or they can, get percentage returns over time, that kind of stuff, like interest rates. And with Pi, clearly that's not really possible because, it's just, so we have to kind of think of different use cases. All right. I know it's hard, but we have to. Okay. There's different use cases for Pi, and we have to explore and we kind of have to look for them. And before we launch Open Mainnet, if we have at least some strong use cases, even without a price of Pi, it's better than nothing. It's way better than nothing. If you look at where like South Korea is and like Japan and China in like accepting Pi crypto, that's still nothing. We could get a whole lot more before Open Mainnet, and it would be much better to have in every city like at least one or two Pi accepting stores. It would be much better than have absolutely nothing and then just hope that this community will just build out the use cases sometime in the future. Like, if they just do that, it will still take years, months or years to develop them. So we'll see. What I think is that I want my Pi to obviously A, worth a lot, and B, for it to be successful and outshine every other crypto. And for that, I would rather take my chances at going the long run and do everything I possibly can to maximize the chance of launch. Because Pi could do two things. It could just do like a stealth launch, and it could just be this coin that nobody knows about, and then goes on mainnet full of bugs, full of issues. Everybody's crying, price is low, everybody's selling because there's not enough demand. And then maybe 2 years down the line, something happens and it gets picked up again, and may not ever recover. But at this moment, with our numbers, by the time Open Mainnet launches, Pi will actually be the number one, the biggest cryptocurrency launch to date. Okay, and that's fact. It's just based on numbers. We already have 2.5 million wallets on mainnet. There's no other cryptocurrencies that launch with those kind of figures, and that's still a small minority of the 4 or 5 million. And if we launch that, this news will be a very big deal in the crypto space. And let's not discount. Let's not pretend that if meme coins and no-name coins and they can just do X thousand X in a couple of weeks' time based on hype and random people shilling it, then we cannot replicate moderate amount of those, all right, with up to 45 million people, we have a lot more guns that can be used for God. Anyway, that's my case. And when it comes to like use cases, even the use cases that like Mark mentioned, well, for that, the sufficient platform needs to be built and the infrastructure needs to be solid, and there has to be no bugs, and like it's work on the progress. It's much better to have that by Open Mainnet before launching and have some use cases and all the existing dApps in an ecosystem than have absolutely nothing. Okay, like that's just, come on. If you don't agree with that, then like I'm not sure what to tell you. Just don't really see eye to eye with me, and that's okay. But there's a lot of examples of those projects that try to do is have nothing and then launch, and then where are they now? Nowhere.
Yeah. Listen, you've actually, eloquently said it, and I can't. I'll add some to it, definitely. But listen, I can't be much more enthused by what you've just said. Let me just add a bit to it. Clearly, a lot of people are bartering in places. A lot of people are bartering. I would say some of the prices are being influenced by the IOU that we have on different exchange platforms. So you have Huobi and all the other ones who have the Pi IOU, which has started to do with Pi Network. You need to remember that, people. But it's a sort of a springboard where people can weigh up, what the potential price of Pi could be. And we know it, personally, I know it will be more than what is being touted out there on the exchanges. It should be more than that. But considering that it's an IOU, the prices are encouraging to see. Do you know what I mean? They're encouraging to see. And people are asking questions, or they're making statements here saying, I'm looking at somebody like Leah saying, there is a lot of trading on peer-to-peer. I'm actually baffled by how they can determine the value, which is price, of course, price to sell goods. Now that's the thing. That's why we call it bartering. You're bartering amongst yourselves. So you determine your own price to say, I'm going to sell such and such at such and such amount of Pi, such and such dollars per Pi or something. That is what you do personally. You understand? That's your choice. That's why we call it bartering. So you can choose how much you want to sell it. Even if you want to sell it at a GCV rate, that is great for you. If you want to sell it at a rate which is much higher, because if you're selling it at GCV, it means it'll be cheaper. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're selling it at GCV, it means you're selling it for the buyer to benefit, not you, the seller. Do you know what I mean? And if you're selling it much more than that, then you, the seller, benefits, and the buyer, well, they'll benefit anyway, because we still don't know what the price of Pi is. All we know is you barter and you determine the price between the two of you. That's what it is. They said it. Remember, the core team said that. People have lost track of what the core team said earlier, that we, in the enclosed network, will be bartering for goods and services. So you determine your own price. That's why Nicholas Kokales said that in some interview he did, that pioneers determine the price of Pi, and people got it all twisted and thought, oh, okay, then I can say it's 314,159. That's not what he meant. What he meant was, while you're bartering, you determine the price. We're in the enclosed network, so while you're bartering, you determine the price. Not, to say that, oh yeah, let me extortionately say, I'm going to sell it at a cheaper price. I'm going to sell it at a higher rate, which means GCV. That therefore you, the seller, benefits. You, the buyer, benefits. The buyer benefits. And then when you're selling it, you say, no, I'm selling it at $5 per Pi. But when you're buying it, you want to buy it at GCV. So, it's a win-win for you, but it's a lose-lose for the other party. Do you know what I mean? Now, so personally, I understand where people are coming from, but we're in the bartering phase, which is the enclosed network. That's how we build our economy. That's how we build our economy. Back in the day, back in the olden days, when things were ancient, bartering is what people did. At the time, they valued what they had. So they'll be like, all right, I'm going to sell my gold cloak in exchange for a ship, because I'm going to fight somebody on another country or something. And that's what they did. If you've watched Game of Thrones, you've watched The Last Kingdom, you've watched Vikings, that's exactly what they did. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't cash as it is now, it was bartering. So I hope this clears things up for people to know that we don't need the price of pi to do transactions on our ecosystem. We don't need the open mainnet to do transactions on our ecosystem. We can still do transactions amongst us, by deciding how much we're going to sell it for and how much we want to buy it for. Simple as that. As long as they're not exchanging it for fiat, you should be fine. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I have to say about that. Anyway, so that's that for mainnet, open network period.